Going? It's Maureen Allher here. Thanks for joining me today. So, if you're watching this live or if you're watching this on a replay, you can skip forward just maybe 10 seconds just while this all works. I'm actually using the new interface of Facebook Live. So, my cameras, I can see my face down here. So, if you see me looking down there, that's why. Yeah, Facebook have just made things even more complicated, it would seem. But that's okay. We're going to dive in with this. So if you don't know me, my name is Moira and I help entrepreneurs build a top tier income from virtual speaking and powerful closing keys so that they are enrolling the maximum number of their viewers and attendees into their products and programs as possible. I'm also the founder of Secret Suppers Worldwide. And I basically took my own business from 10K in debt to $500,000 in sales in less than 3 years. I literally went from being a youth worker living in London making 40,000 a year to a business mentor and speaker making 40,000 a month. So I know a little bit about speaking and making money, and I want to speak to you about finding virtual speaking gigs today, because I don't know if you've noticed, but the aim of the game has really changed in the last few weeks. But right now, it's all about visibility. It's all about exposure. So you want to use every resource that you have to be seen as much as possible online. And in my opinion and in my experience, speaking is not only the fastest way to grow your business, but it's also the fastest way to get seen. It's also the fastest way to get exposure, and it's the fastest way to make an impact. And the good thing about speaking is if you're not doing it right now and you want to do it, then learning to be good at virtual speaking is going to mean you're going to be good when all of this lifts and we start to breathe again. You'll be good at speaking in person as well. So it's a great time to get that practice in. And equally, if you are a speaker who's used to being on the stage, then virtual speaking is, it's a no-brainer for you that you would do that. But I think initially we've had a bit of a block going, virtual speaking, how is that going to work? Because they're so used to getting in our cars or jumping on planes and going off to events. Like, my business literally changed overnight. I had lots of speaking gigs booked in my calendar between Bali and London and Ireland. And then all of a sudden, that wasn't going to happen. So very quickly pivoted to virtual speaking. And over the last month or so, I've really been honing in on the best ways to find virtual speaking gigs. So I want to share with you 3 ways that you can find virtual speaking gigs in this live today. If you want to ask me any questions, you can. But more than that, if you want to reach out to me and speak to me in person about building a 6-figure income from speaking, you can send me a private message. I would love to talk to you at any time. So what is the trick to finding these virtual speaking gigs? Well, in my opinion and in my experience, you've got to be out there all the time. Now, let me just check that this Facebook is still running. This Facebook Live is still running while I'm here. I can't see everybody using... or making any comments or saying that they're live, because this is a whole new interface. So I don't want to be ignoring anybody if they're saying hello. Okay, so I can see some people are joining. This is cool. Okay. Interesting. So it has a 28-minute timer on it. Don't know what that is, but I'm sure we'll crack on anyway and hope for the best. So I want to share with you 3 ways that you can find virtual speaking gigs. And the first thing that you need is you need to be out there all the time. The same way you would be going to events and finding speaking engagements from going to events, you can be finding speaking engagements from being online all the time. Now, I don't just mean like online and just cruising and surfing Facebook and things like that, but being really intentional on the fact that you are looking for virtual speaking gigs. And that means, connecting with other people. It means looking at what other people are doing. It means the events that you're attending, how did they get those speaking gigs? And it also means connecting with your network. At any one time, I would have, multiple conversations going on in my messenger chat box on Facebook, because I can't get out to do these conversations in person. And my business has really been built on personal connections. So the next best way to keep those conversations going is obviously to move it online. So making sure that you're online all the time. And what I say by that, be intentional about it. Have conversations going with people. Make sure that people know what you're looking for. So I think one of the number 1 ways right now to find a virtual speaking gig is to turn any gigs that you had booked into a virtual gig. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I mean that almost all networking groups and associations right now, they're still hosting events, but their events are online. Right now, it's taken them a little while to get their head around how can we just move this to online completely. So if you have any gigs booked that are in your calendar for the rest of this year, make sure that you're reaching out to those organizations, associations, and meetings, and offering to take control of making this virtual. So when I say offer you to take control over it, because maybe these people don't know how to do it, but if you're a seasoned entrepreneur and a speaker, you must know possibly more than they do. So offer to be a resource to them is my point in doing that. There's audiences still waiting for you at these groups and associations, but I think it's up to us to step up and say, I can do this virtually. It's no problem. You can lean on me. I can send out the emails, I can create the Zoom rooms, I can make this really easy for you. Because I think there's a lot of fear and, messing up or, not being able to deliver the same value that they can deliver to their members, to their audiences, because they're not doing it live. But that's not true, because I've attended many amazing virtual events over the last few months. No, over the last few weeks is a better way of saying that. And they've been fantastic, So sometimes, people just need a little bit of support to help them make it happen. So any events that you had booked, offer to turn those into virtual gigs. So then you can still get your message out to those people. You can still make an impact and you can still enroll clients for that. And those places are still going to be looking for virtual speakers. So if this is something you haven't done, you don't have to have had a gig booked, but maybe there's places that you've been networking with over the last couple of years since becoming an entrepreneur that you can go now and offer to be a virtual speaker for those organizations, associations, and networking groups, right? Tell them how easy it would be. Tell them how many times that you've done it. And tell them you'll even write the copy for it and make it really super easy for them, okay? So one thing I would share with you if you are going to do that is just don't make this hard, right? Because, when I would say this to one of my clients, oh, go find some virtual speaking gigs, you kind of start going like this. So where will I look? Where will I look? Well, look at what's already worked in the past. So go back and look at the places that you've either spoken at, or go back and look at the places that you've attended an event and offer to be a virtual speaker. And don't overthink this. Just send a message, just send an email, or my favorite, pick up the phone. You can still call people. So that's number one. Number two is, I think it's really overlooked, but it's who do you know that has a mastermind? Who do you know that has a high-level mastermind? Now, this is for the more seasoned speaker. It's not necessarily for people who are starting out, but if you've been speaking for a while, who are your colleagues? Who are other speakers that you know who have their own masterminds? I run my own mastermind. I have 15 amazing women in it. It's a high-level mastermind, and they're from all over the world. And I bring in regular speakers and regular people and experts to share skills and to share content with my clients. So who do you know that is running a mastermind? Who in your network has a mastermind group or simply a group program that you could be invited to speak at? These groups are highly qualified and they're always intimate as well, which is really my favorite. So you get to have a really personal connection with people. And it's a nice, in mine, it's a nice sort of casual environment, but really high level content, really, really amazing sharing. So these are amazing places to attract ideal clients. Now, one thing I would advise you to do, if this is something you're going to think about doing, which you should, is start with people you know. Don't expect somebody you don't know to invite you into their mastermind, right? This is going to come from a personal relationship that already exists, or someone that knows someone who knows you well. It could come from a referral as well, but there's going to have to be some sort of connection there to make this work really well. Okay, and then just ask, right? What's the worst they can say? No. Just ask. And the third one I think is also really overlooked. It's about connecting with event planners. So who are those event planners that you know who have been creating amazing 3D industry events that are not doing them now, but they're actually creating virtual events for their clients? These experts are always looking for speakers to help their clients with. They always need to have a list of speakers. They always need to have a list of resources. So make sure that you're connected with these people. Do they know that what you speak about? Do they know who you are? Are you on their radar at all? Find them on Facebook, find them on all your social media channels. Follow them, reach out to them, offer to be a resource to them. Always a great thing to do. If you know somebody you could introduce them to who might be looking to hire an event planner, that's always great. And then just reach out to them and let them know that you're available. Okay? Now, one thing I would say about event planners, absolutely amazing resources, and the ones that I've been connected with, they're absolutely amazing, but they're always sharing really, really great events on their social media. So make sure that you're following them as well, because I've seen some amazing leads being shared by event planners, because they really want to help other people keep it going with events as much as possible as well. So make sure that you're following any groups that they have, that you're actually a member of them. Now, before I forget, I want to make sure that you know, if you want to build a top tier income from speaking and you want a roadmap of how to do that, send me a private message. We can hop on a call. I'd be more than happy to share that with you. And, just on that last note I was saying about event planners, and, just to tie all of this together for you as well, being online is, being online in the first place is going to be one of the fastest ways that you can get virtual speaking gigs. Obviously, then having personal relationships with people who have masterminds could really help you as well. And then connecting with people who are organizing events like event planners. It was only like last week. Do you remember I was saying to you at the beginning of this that at any one time I'm in conversation with many, many people, especially players in the industry. I want us to be connected. I want them to know what I'm looking for, and I want to be a resource to them. Well, I actually reached out to an event planner colleague just to say hi, how's it going? And just from doing that, in that moment, she was actually looking for a speaker for one of her clients. She wanted somebody who could speak on speaking. And yes, I speak on speaking. So for just me reaching out and saying hello to that colleague there, and then I got booked to speak. I got booked to speak in front of over 100 people in this really amazing virtual event. And as a result of that, I spoke for 15 minutes and I got 35 calls booked directly onto my calendar just like that. That is the power of virtual speaking. That's the power of speaking, but it's also the power of simply reaching out and being online, being in the right place at the right time, not overcomplicating this, being a resource to people, still be in communication, still be trying to cultivate your personal connections, and just having fun. And don't be that person online who's just out there selling things all the time. Be the person who's getting involved, ask questions, be a resource, reach out to people, say hi, get involved, right? Be seen, get in the conversation. Don't just be out there trying to take. So I hope you've enjoyed this. So I'm just going to recap on what my 3 points were so that you know. So number one, this is about finding virtual speaking gigs. If you're just joining this live, number one is to be able to turn any in-person gigs that you've had into a virtual gig, and making it really easy for organizations and associations to allow you to do that, because some of them might be afraid of the process and how this would actually work. So be a resource to them. Number two is connecting with people who have masterminds or smaller group programs, or even big group programs. It doesn't have to be small. And let them know that you're looking for speaking gigs. See how you could be a resource for those people. And remembering that you want to start with your colleagues first, right? Don't expect someone who doesn't know you to invite you to speak in front of their mastermind. And the third way to find virtual speaking gigs these days is connecting with event planners, because they are looking for speakers all the time. So do they know you exist? Do they know that you're looking for speaking engagements? Make sure they do. Get their attention. Be a resource to them. Reach out to them. Follow them. And yeah, those are my 3 ways to find virtual speaking gigs. I could actually talk about this all day long, but I don't have all day to do this. But if this is something that is something that you want to do, something that you want more of in your business, and you see other people speaking, or maybe you're not sure of how you can make the shift from being a speaker offline or being a speaker online, I can totally help you with that. So send me a private message here on Facebook, and we can set up a call. I call it the six-figure speaker strategy session. That's where I'll lay out a roadmap for you of how you can add an additional 6 figures to your bottom line, if you're willing to do the work, if you're willing to do what it takes. That's what I've lived. That's what my clients live. And I would love to see you getting that result as well. If you're dedicated and you're willing, there's no reason why you can't. The world is literally at our oyster right now. And please God, when all of this lifts and we can all go back to going to live events again, I don't assume that life will be the same again, but I'm sure that live events will still be taking place. I look forward to getting on stage, and maybe you'll be on stage as well. So I hope you find this useful, and I will find a way to end this live video on this new interface of Facebook. So have a brilliant Friday, and you know where I am. Bye-bye.